All right, folks, I am Eamon. We are here at a first for YouTube. This is actually the site of the former ghost town, company town, ghost town of Erie, Ohio, in Jackson County, Ohio. This road right here would be roughly where the railroad spur was. It would have came back here so this place could have done business with some more distant entities or whatever, and so we have an approximate location, more or less, about where everything was. We'll go ahead and assume that this road is correct. All right. On each side there was about 10 platted spots. No doubt there was more going on down here that was unofficial, but you have 10 on each side of the road here. Now over here we have vis-a-vis something kind of almost like a negative of Moonville Tunnel. Now, knowing that there were houses and buildings down here with roofs, this starts to make a little bit more sense. That is definitely old, and I would be willing to bet money that I don't have that what that is right there is the foundation of an old house. Some place that must have been very well built. No doubt there's more to it back there you can't see from here. But the reason why I mentioned Moonville is because when you pull into the parking lot, that site that looks like it's been bombed out by dwarves or something, like mortared by dwarves or whatever, looks like these rocks right here, more or less. And those spots are actually where the rocks like this were pulled out of the foundation of the co-mansion and general store from Moonville right there in front of the tunnel. Or at least that's what I understand it to be. Everybody else, as far as I know as well. This goes on down here a little ways. There are other people down there right now. We'll deal with them in a moment, no doubt, because there's an interesting piece of something down that road. But right now we're going to go into some of the basics, okay? All right, so the reason I know about the platting of exactly how the platting of Erie, Ohio went is because I was able to find an atlas map of somebody who came through here in 1875 and laid out how the land looked at that point. And how everything was owned and all that. By 1875, this place is already going down. It was already past its peak. And by 1885, 1886, it was more or less just a ghost town. There was more or less there's nothing here. If maybe one person, maybe for a while, and that was it. So in 1875, this place is already, skyrocketing, nosediving. Should I say, skyrocketing towards the ground. But yeah, so and that's how it often went. This place had been here for a while, from what I understand, but in some form or another. But it just never caught on and never got it. Just never did whatever it needed to do in order to become like Jackson would about a mile up the road, theoretically. To maintain and build and continue on as a modern city. Right over here, we have this has been mowed and everything, and we're in the middle of winter, so you can see that this appears to have been probably an old path of the old town. Over here, across the street from the railroad track, from all the rubble, is more rubble. Could have been the same building, could have been a different building. Or actually, no, it couldn't have been, because we went over the tracks, huh? So this would have been some, maybe perhaps some kind of a different building over here at some point. And see, that's what it would have looked like if it had been deep in the ground. You'd just been pulling those chunks up, and they would have sat the floor on, I believe. I don't know. And you'll see back in through there, for example, that large object is a railroad tie. So, and you see down through here. Now, of course, things have been changed a little bit. No doubt we're a couple of feet higher on this modern-ish road than we would have been back then. So you have to take that into account as well. Maybe, potentially, I don't know. That looks like at one time it would have been something. It just goes right off into nothing instantly. Reminds me of Moonville, places that they destroyed the ways up or whatever because they didn't want people messing around back in there. I guess, I don't know. So this is generally it. Over here you can see where, these would have been on, the sides of the road. That is super old, but nothing outrageous. These pieces of concrete, maybe a retaining wall, maybe some, or a step. Probably not, but it could have been. Are right here. And of course, old cinder blocks. That's, who knows. Those aren't super old, you can tell that. But anyway, here is some of this out here. Got some old concrete pipe over there. Let's see if I can. It's so hard. You can see the upper ridge right there, right dead center of the screen. Probably part of an irrigation system that was out here at one time. Because there was people out here at one point, and with the tracts of land they were giving out, there could have been several people on one piece and would have been fine. Believe it or not, this is actually going to be the low light of the video, beyond just having to deal with me at all. Foundations, something to that effect. Retaining wall, been there for a while. Look at that. That's easily Company Town era. Look at how the concrete's finished. Not very well. Pieces of concrete you can find in there, see in there. Not very well. This right here was no doubt probably one of the Ferguson's houses. Hey, if this is the right piece of property, I'm not sure, but you know that this right here was obviously used for something, and it appears to be some kind of a scrap pile from once upon a time back through here. You get now. I think that up. I think we are at the end of what it is. I'm not sure because that curve up there wasn't in the platting, but who knows, it probably could have been stuff up there as well, especially at one point before 1875, which is the only thing that we have any as far as I know, that's the farthest back any visual information about this place is this is going to be elevated on purpose to keep it up, because this place has some issues that I'm about to go into on our walk back. So at one point this all would have been owned on this side of the road. On this side of the road, there's a guy named Stephenson that had several tracks in a row, probably like five, 6 tracks in a row here, owned a huge amount of the property in 1875 of the official property. Back here in 1875 he owned a pretty good bit of this, and then Ferguson had one over in this area somewhere. He'd been around in here, the general area. He had one property. There were buildings. It seemed there were some buildings on Ferguson's property. I don't know if there were how many there were on Stephenson, or if there were any at that point. He may have just owned the land. Of course, like every other place, you get dumping and all that good stuff. Well, why don't we go ahead and we'll traipse down this trail and see where we come out at, because we're heading down in this direction anyway. So clearly, see, this is what makes me think that this is actually, that this is actually probably an old road, because first you can start to see down here, you see the where it looks like it's about the right size of the standard for a cart or a car. Obviously nothing's been down here for a long time. You can see how complete everything is, untouched. You know, I mean it's been quite a while. Something got dragged through here. Or something. Okay. As a matter of fact, just by happenstance, we're going to come out at the place that I wanted to come back here and show you. All right, so this is Ferguson's. Is the only one that's left over here. I'm going to attribute it to the Fergusons that own the property over here, because of there being no evidence of anybody else being over here and owning the property, at least in 1875. So, as you can see, it is actually, wait a minute, it is a cinder block building. I have never been down this way because it's always been grown up. When I come down through here, I never seem to think about this place during the winter like I am right now. But it's a cinder block building. Those cinder blocks out there could have been the thing that built this. Maybe those cinder blocks are a lot older than I thought. Let's see. We'll go over here and try to pop out of this place somewhere convenient and then have a better look. Yeah. Thankfully, I am well covered and will be going directly into a shower with my clothes being directly in the bleach. So, I have no doubt there is probably some kind of tick on me now. Anyway, here it is. This is the some kind of, they think it may be some kind of an iron working site or something like that. I'm not sure why someone would say that, but that is the theoretical history of this place. It is the only what you could call standing building that is known of Erie, Ohio. And here it is. You got to it the Cornfuckle way. Alright, so I would almost guess that to be Hanging Rock region iron. Looks like the stuff you would put, like make railroad ties out of. Around here it would have been cheap, kind of like oil in Saudi Arabia. You know, you can get it directly from the source. You get pretty cheap. And see, oh man, they used those blocks for a little bit of everything, didn't they? In here, Now you can see, it's a basic building. Everything seems to line up, which actually isn't a real good sign. And this place was probably not built by pros. But it is what it is. A couple of windows over here. I've never been in the place, but since I've already got myself all ticked up already, and that doesn't look good. See if I can. I'm gonna walk back here and get something stupid on it. Anyway, my name's Shasta. Hello, how are you? Seeds. Alright, so here it is. This is one of the entrances to the building. It's still got wood on it. And wood on the the frame of the door or whatever. And there is some vines that have been growing there for probably longer than I have been alive. They have taken over that tree entirely. Huh. Make sure I ain't gonna piss anything off real fast. Of course, I am out here by myself, like an idiot. But sometimes you get stupid brave when you got a pistol, and sometimes you shouldn't be. But hopefully, I don't like going in places like this because animals are in here. And see, the windows or whatever they would have been are made out of cinder block. That same cinder block. There appears to be some kind of a pipe or something like that placed at one time. There's an old piece of something you'd hang something off of. Here is the wooden door frame. It looks solid as hell. I'll tell you that right now. But there it is. As far as I know for a fact that there is absolutely no footage of this place anywhere online until just now. Alright, I'll walk out of here, avoid wherever the hell that is. Okay. So, when I came down the weird way, and before I had my little adventure into there, which I'll have to finish when I have somebody with me at some point, I just, there are venomous, nasty snakes, and of course, crazy quartered animals everywhere. Probably not in there, but I don't want to take a unnecessary risk. I'm an old man, getting conservative and all that dumb shit. So back here is the back part of the property. The road is there was something like it back here. Don't think there was a rail. You can see if you look, there is a magical time you can come back here after it's been mowed on this side of the road here. So you'll probably come down where that black hatchback, that magnificent beast is. You'll on this side of the road, right? So on the other side of the road, if you go down through this entire area, you'll see weird things at right angles, and that's almost assuredly the kind of like the shadow of a foundation of a house or something, or a building, a structure of some sort of shed. And it goes down through here. There are other areas down there that look like that they had been roads, maybe. I have gotten back there and found what looked like to be the what's left of a quite a substantial log cabin back there. But once again, do it alone, so I can only do so much when I'm out here by myself. I have to call in backup to come with me to go do something stupid because I am overly concerned for my health. But there you go. There it is. Probably the only totally standing structure of Erie, Ohio. Now, so what happened to Erie, Ohio? In 1875, it was on its way down because this area still to this day has a problem that it will always have. Unless there is some kind of massive change, I can't even imagine what it would have to be in order to change it. This place is a floodplain. And I mean, it is the big time floodplain. Okay? So even to this day, this area right here, all the way over to Eddie Jones Park, which is over that direction, a few hundred yards, and the walking path they have on the other side of the stream, that place, this whole area will flood. If it rains fairly decently in a quick amount of time, it can flood big time. I have seen it flood big because I used to live down the road about 4.5 blocks. All right, so trust me on that. Well, see, they came here and they thought, well, this is a great little place. It's nestled in between you can't see, there's none of them out here anymore. Even that place right there had been topped by, it's now maybe half the height it was at one point. Okay, that hill over there where that building is, it's a Holzer Hospital. So they didn't understand why there wasn't any sign of any Indian, even, the occasional pass through stuff that you would find, because that's what anybody did around here. They just passed through. They didn't. No one stayed for a while. There's no permanent settlement in the county that anyone knows of. One of these days, I'm gonna get in there and see what's going on. But so they didn't understand why. Well, they soon came to understand, as this place kept getting flooded, probably a couple times a year back then. Maybe it got up this way real bad or not, don't know, have no idea. But I know that it got up here several times, and by 1875, this place had more or less just went into just those two people owning it, and maybe a few people sticking around for whatever industry that was still here, possibly with that building that we just was in. And so then at that point, it was by 1886, there was another huge massive flood in the area that took care of a whole bunch of company towns from here to Scioto County, wiped a whole bunch of them out. This place was finished off at that point as anything. So that was the end of Erie, about 1885, 1886. Now, why's the road? I mean, if there's nothing back here, and there isn't really to speak of, why the road? There was a rail spur out here. Triumph Coal Company owned a lot of this place at one point. I used to live down on Harding Avenue, and in the last company townhouse from that era in the city, in this part of the city anyway. I grew up in it, still there. It was built about 145 years ago, 150 years ago. So at the time, it would have been built either by Triumph Coal or by somebody that was going to try to take advantage of all the opportunity of employment opportunities where Harding Avenue is now would have been. They had Triumph Coal there. They had Jackson up the road with a couple different things. Diamondtown in a different direction. Erie over here had something maybe you could get into if you really needed it. That's how it was. That's why the road Triumph that comes here. One of the ways it comes here off of Harding is named Triumph, is because of the coal company. They had a railroad spur back here. You can come back here and see all kinds of ancient railroad ties that are been sitting there in that exact spot for God knows how many decades. They are of that rail spur. Not all of them are from the company town, but they would have been, a lot of them would have been, because why else would they come back here and repair anything? Nothing was back here. At one point, however, in 1939, this area was going to be a part of the National Highway Project, which is now like the interstate highway that we have in the country. And this road was going to be the National Highway, part of the National Highway. They ripped up the rails, and they took the rails with them. They threw the ties off to the side. That were largely of the company town era back then. 1939 definitely could have easily been. They are still around here on both sides of the road, and they got in preparation. They made this road in 1939. It has not been updated since. The National Highway went up 2 blocks up a different street, and it's what we see over there right now. That's where it would enter and exit onto from here. Went 2 blocks up. So this place was basically abandoned. Nothing's built here because the people who have most of this land is either the city or people who have no interest in doing anything but trying to preserve it. So it just goes fallow because there's so little traffic. There hasn't been a real need to do a lot of anything with it, I suppose. But then it's still working, right? But that is the story of why the road is here and why it is in such terrible shape. Now it's just used for people like this, myself, to come back here and blather on about this place if they know about it. Now the services, the utility poles, stuff out through here, goes way down that way. You can see a lot of stuff down here. But as far as I know, to wrap this up, this is the only video on the internet of Erie, Ohio, and that knows much about it at all or anything. There is nothing at all. I was shocked to see that even on YouTube, there is nothing at all about this place. Matter of fact, finding anything about this place at all entirely is not real easy. You can, find it on the internet now that you know about it, but it's just one of these places that just, died off into history. So, I'm going to, in the next few weeks or something, I'm going to go to Diamondtown, a similar ghost town with quite a history of its own, thanks to what happened there and what Diamondtown turned into and what it became, and the history that it played during the Civil War and various other things. And I'll go down there and show you what's up today and show you how it is, how it looks, tell you all about it then. As far as I know, it will be the only place that has that I will be the first person to have a Diamondtown video on the internet. So stay tuned and have a great one.